Hello, I'm Miss Yvette, better known as Layla's mom, and I would like to welcome you to today's spring break learning series. Today we're going to continue our discussion on simple machines and we're going to learn about pulleys. Sit back, relax, and let's get ready to learn. Pulleys. A pulley is a simple machine. It uses grooved wheels and a rope to raise, lower, or move a load. If you look over here to our picture, which is our reference, you'll see how you're pulling the rope down, and while you're pulling the rope down, the other side of the rope is going up, and normally that side of the rope is where you're going to attach your load. All right, so terms that we need to know when we talk about pulley. Like always, we're very interested in figuring out what the mechanical advantage is. And the mechanical advantage is whatever is gained by the use of a mechanism in transmitting force. Another term we need to know when we talk about using a pulley is the load. The load is actually the mass or weight supported by something. If you look in our image, our load will actually be the bucket. So whatever items we're trying to move up or move down or move over, that's going to be our load. Then we have our effort. Effort force is distinguished by the possible resistance called an action by such a force. So the effort is going to be the work, or what are we doing to actually cause a level of force to move our load. And force is the strength or energy exerted or brought to bear. And so force is going to be whatever that energy that it takes to actually make it happen. In newtons, that's the unit of force. There are actually three types of pulleys. You have your fixed pulley, and that's the pulley right here to your left. The pulley doesn't move. It's attached to an object that's actually going to move. Pulley isn't going to move itself. It's actually very stationary, and it's attached to, and then you're going to use your rope to actually pull that object up. Then we have our movable pulley. The movable pulley actually moves with the load. So in this instance, we see the top of the rope is actually attached to the top of the ceiling, or the actual wood plank in this case. And when we pull on the rope, the pulley is actually going to move along with our item or the load that we're trying to transfer. And then we have our combined pulley. This makes it very easy, as the effort needed to lift the load is less than half the weight of the load. So this makes for an easier pull. And in this case, it could be movable, and it could be fixed, or it could be a combination. But in this picture right here, we have a movable and fixed pulley together. All right, so now let's talk about mechanical advantage. Pulleys are often interconnected in order to obtain considerable mechanical advantage. The ideal mechanical advantage of a pulley is directly dependent upon the number of support strings. Okay, so now depending on how many support strings we have, that's how we determine what our Newton count is. If we looked at our fixed pulley, the mechanical advantage of the fixed pulley is 1, because if you look over there, we only have one string. Well, one string that's actually being used, this one right here, that would be the string that we're looking at when we do our count. In our movable pulley, the mechanical advantage of the movable pulley is going to be 2, because again, if you look at our strings, you're going to see we have one here, and then we have one here. So you're going to go straight across when you do your count. And then we have the mechanical advantage of a pulley system is equal to the number of sections of rope pulling up on the object. Okay? So over here, this is what we were talking about earlier when we have our combinations of our pulleys. And you see right here, we have our pulley here, and then we have our pulley here. So now, let's talk about different types of pulleys. If you look over here, here's a pulley that we're very familiar with, and it's when we lift our flag. Our pulley is actually over here, and our flag will be our load. So our flag is connected to our rope on this side. It goes across our pulley. And then we have our person or our man here. He's going to pull down on that rope, which is going to allow our flag to move up. Now, in this picture, we have someone who's going down a zip line. They are also on a pulley, but in this case, our rope is not moving. So our rope is on our fixed point, and our wheels are going to rotate as it goes down our rope, and our load would be the person right here who's gliding down the zip line. Okay? And when we talk about our mechanical builds and how we use pulleys, it's the same type of system that we talked about before. If you look right here, you'll see that our pulley has been connected to our mechanism where she's able to turn, and with her turning, it's going to lift up our load. And later on in other learning series, we'll talk about our gears and how our gears can also be used within this same system. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And then over here, we see the same type of system where we have multiple pulleys being used to also lift a load. All right, challenge! Time to do something fun. First, before I tell you about our challenge, let me remind you, simple machines do not enable you to do less work. Rather, they enable you to use less force. Okay, so our challenge today, I want you to find simple machine pulleys around your home or community. And then I want you to try to figure out the mechanical advantage of that item. I want you to take pictures of what you find, and I want you to tell me what the mechanical advantage is. All right, remember, anytime we use social media, we want to make sure that we get our parents' permission first. So you may be asking, Miss Yvette, where do I put my pictures? Where do I tell you about the mechanical advantage of the pictures I found? You can put your pictures in two locations. You can share your findings with Twitter, and you can hashtag it Layla's League, or you can post it on Facebook, and you can go to this link right here, or you can just put in Layla's League LLC in your search, and then our page should pop up. Thank you so much. It's been awesome. Remember, share what you learned today with your parents and share it with another friend. All right, can't wait to talk to you about more simple machines tomorrow. Bye-bye.